First things first, let the duckies out. Take this gate off. It just kind of sits there. And I take it over here and I put it in front of the dog door because the ducks go in there and they make a heck of a mess out of the animal run. It's in the back door of the garage. Good morning, everybody. So it is once again a very cold and windy spring morning, but you got to catch the husband when you can catch him because he's not here very often at the moment, or he's working on the building when he is. So we are going to go out and rototill in the garden so that I can plant potatoes and asparagus and anything else I want to plant as soon as the weather wants to cooperate. And if the weather is nice, I can guarantee he will be working on the building. So, crummy weather rototilling it is. So I just let the ducks out. I'm gonna feed the kitties. They are talking to me. Check on the bunnies, grab my camera stand, and away we will go. Are you talking to the camera? No? Kind of looks to me like you are. I have to come up with a better solution soon for the ducks and the dog door, because this is where the dog is supposed to be, and I like to keep it duck free. I like to keep it clean, and the ducks love it in here because they love dog food. So I gotta come up with a solution soon. But for now, the cats, they can crawl through that, but the ducks don't quite fit. The dog, she just has to eat at night. And there is some dog food up at the front porch if she's hungry. But, okay, moving on. Camera stand. This is my burn pile, which we cannot burn while there's hay right here, so that has to wait. No activity from the radishes yet. It is just not warm enough. I am keeping them damp, but not soaking, so when it does get warm enough, they will pop right up. Got some garlic here. Looking kind of pale, needs some sun. Need to do some major garden work. This is one of the beds we're going to rototill. I've got some onions in here. I am going to just pull them. And I don't know. I think they're left over from last year. Oh, I got some serious roots. Oh, and they're just rotten. They're very squishy. I can't even get it pulled out of there. It's so slick and yucky. So we'll probably just rototill those under. All of these. Probably go through and pull as many as I can before Miles gets the rototiller going. The dog likes to help. Don't you? Yeah. Rototill this one. I need to add some dirt to this one, so lots to do. These frosted last night. It's just too early. It's just too early. All right, explanation time. I built these wooden boxes, this one and those two over there, my first gardening season here at this house, and that was probably 4 years ago. Moved here in 16, it's 21. Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. I did not expect them to last. I didn't build them to last. I didn't line them with plastic. I was just going for it. My first garden box building experience, and I bought some really cheap lumber from the sawmill. It was, I think, 20 bucks for all the lumber I built all 3 of these out of, and I did not expect them to stay together. And I have rebuilt them. I rebuilt them last spring. Not completely, just added onto them so that they'd be more, maybe that was 2 springs ago. Anybody else have trouble keeping track of years? Like, I have to write things down there. I do not remember. But anyway, so they have shrank, which is why I've got some major cracks. The soil is leaking out along the top row. So my solution is to just cut up some plastic bags that dirt came in, or mulch or feed or whatever I've got, and fill the holes. I intend for these boxes to not stick around. I'm moving to metal. I really like the metal containers. They last better, they're more permanent. I like how the soil gets warm in them. We have a short growing season here, so the soil in the wooden containers, like the one I'm working on here and the one over there, 2 over there, their soil is still really froze, still pretty wet up until today. Whereas I could have worked the soil in the metal beds probably last week if we'd have had a nice day. But we haven't had any nice days. But the soil was a lot warmer. It is just warmer in general. So I'm really liking that. And so I'm moving to those. So we're just patching these another year. And when they are done, they are done. And we will pull them out and add them to our burnwood pile and reuse the dirt. And that'll be no problem at all. I'm leaving enough space to pull them out of here eventually. I'll probably pull them out this fall, and replace them when I find something to replace them with. I don't really want to not have them, since I don't have anything to replace them with yet. And I'm not okay with buying brand new metal tanks. I don't like the shininess. I don't like how they look, and they are expensive. These, all that I have here, I have either pulled out of a dump, gotten from a neighbor, or pulled out of the ranch or somewhere because they are all rusted out bottom leak. And on my dirt project that I'm doing, okay, so I went and got some topsoil dirt out of the corral, and it is really fluffy, soft, kind of, it's very rich. I would call it hot dirt. It's full of manure, hay, but I'm just digging the topsoil, not bringing the top layer of hay and manure. I'm digging down just a little bit and getting what's underneath it, so it's a kind of decomposed, kind of broke down, but it will be considered hot just because it has the amount of manure in it that it does. So Miles is going to rototill that dirt into the dirt from the garden that was in the metal containers last year. So that will be considered a nice dirt. Something wrong with my cat. Oh, she was just lonely. She was running across the yard making a bunch of noise. I'm right here. You didn't lose me. I'm right here. Anywho, and what I'm doing in this, why I turned all my soil in this big square container. Square. What? You're making so much noise. Are you just that desperate to see me? Huh? That's okay. You can come up here. Oh, you don't want up here. You gotta decide. You can't have it both ways. Anyway, anybody that follows my videos, this is getting more challenging by the second. Anybody that follows along with my gardening videos knows that I had strawberries planted in this bed right here. And I have had them they were on their 2nd year, this would have been their 3rd year. And I just basically murdered them with the shovel. The reason being is that I also had 2 types of the small tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, in here last year, and a bunch of other things. I packed this bed really full. I enjoy it that way. but I let it get a little too wild. I went to Alaska on a trip last year. I was gone almost a whole month out of the garden, and it got really wild while I was gone. And while I was gone, it grew poison ivy right in the middle of it all. And it was so thick that I didn't know it was in there, and I had this little problem where I got poison ivy mixed in with the tomatoes and ate the cherry tomatoes and had poison ivy in my mouth. So, bad deal. On that note, I was hoping that I got it all pulled. I tried really hard to pull it all out. And that is one of the reasons why all those dead tomato plants were still in this bed, is because I got fed up with it and just didn't clean this bed out. This spring, I have noticed that I have poison ivy growing up through the strawberry plants. Strawberry plants weren't popping like my other strawberry plants, and the poison ivy was really popping. So I pulled out as much of it by the roots that I could, took it out of the garden area. I tried really hard not to keep poisonous plants in my edibles. And it just happens sometimes when you bring in dirt from the ranch out of the corrals and stuff. You just sometimes get stickers or poison, and it's just not, you gotta watch for it and be careful. I haven't had it happen much, just this one bed. So I've decided that I turned all the soil so that I disrupted all the roots. I am adding at least a good foot of extra soil from the corrals. And it shouldn't have any weeds in it. This layer should not have any weeds in it, like active, poisonous, or any other kind of weeds, except maybe little manure weeds, but they're completely harmless. And then I'm going to cover it completely with either plastic or landscape fabric, or possibly both, and let it burn out for several weeks. I don't want anything growing there, I want those roots to die. So that is what I'm doing.